It is not often you will hear a director go pure scorched earth on his own studio on basically the eve of when his next big movie is coming out with that studio. Of course, we saw it a while ago when the great Denis Villeneuve went off on Warner Brothers for how they managed things, making Dune a day and date release. We obviously saw Christopher Nolan go off as well, but Doug Liman, the director of the new Roadhouse movie coming out, he was supposed to be going to South by Southwest for the premiere of the new movie. But according to Deadline, he is not going. And the reason he is not going is because he wrote his own op-ed for Deadline, basically just bashing Amazon for their release strategy with this movie. And we normally only read short clips, but I thought we should read certain chunks of this because it's pretty spicy. The headline, of course, reads, Doug Liman says he's boycotting South by Southwest premiere of his Jake Gyllenhaal film Roadhouse to protest Amazon MGM bypassing theaters for Prime streaming releases. This is what it says. When Roadhouse opens the South by Southwest Film Festival, I won't be attending. Remember, Doug's writing this himself. The movie is fantastic, maybe my best, and I'm sure it will bring the house down and possibly have the audience dancing in their seats during the end credits, but I will not be there. My plan had been to silently protest Amazon's decision to stream a movie so clearly made for the big screen. But Amazon is hurting way more than just me and my film. If I don't speak up about Amazon, who will? So here we go. When Amazon bought MGM, one of the few remaining studios making big commercial films for theatrical release, movies like Bond, Creed, they announced that Amazon said that they would put $1 billion into theatrical motion pictures, releasing at least 12 films a year. They touted it as the largest commitment to cinemas by an internet company. I can tell you what they then did to me and my film Roadhouse, which is the opposite of what they promised when they took over MGM. The facts. I signed up to make a theatrical motion picture for MGM. Amazon bought MGM. Amazon said, make a great film and we will see what happens. So I made a great film, if he says so himself. We made Roadhouse a quote-unquote smash hit. Amazon's words, not mine, by the way. Roadhouse tested higher than my biggest box office hit, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. It tested higher than The Bourne Identity, which spawned 4 sequels. I'm told the press response has been Amazon's best since they bought MGM. Roadhouse has a strong tie into the UFC, which has a rabid and loyal fan base that has spawned over 1.5 billion social media impressions for the film, and marketing hasn't even started yet. Well, it did today with the dropping of the trailer. The action is groundbreaking, and Jake Gyllenhaal gives a career-defining performance in a role he was born to play. Audiences will want to see UFC megastar Conor McGregor take his debut swing at Jake on the big screen. The reality is there's nothing quite so fun as a good fight. So this is where he kind of then gets into the personal stuff. What else could I have delivered to the studio? Nothing, it turns out, because contrary to their public statements, Amazon has no interest in supporting cinemas. Amazon will exclusively stream Roadhouse on Amazon Prime. Amazon asked me and the film community to trust them and their public statements about supporting cinemas, and then they turned around and are using Roadhouse to sell plumbing fixtures. And it goes on. And it goes on. This is a director of a movie that's about to come out bashing the studio that he worked with to make it. Now, something does need to be pointed out. Whereas Doug Liman said, I signed on to make a theatrical film, he does not have it in writing as a contract that guaranteed this film would be going to theaters. This isn't the same as the Scarlett Johansson situation, where she had it in the contract and thus sued Disney and won because they caved. This isn't one of those situations. They never gave it to him in writing that they would release it in cinemas. But even if it's not in contract form, he raises a very good point. Amazon swore to us that they would be putting $1 billion a year and 12 feature theatrical films a year. And they have not lived up to that. And Doug Liman, who's sitting there like, hey, you told me to make a great movie. I think I just made the best movie I ever made. The director of Swingers and Mr. and Mrs. Smith and Bourne Identity, he's saying, I think I just made my best film. You said make a great film? You, Amazon, are telling me it's testing higher than anything else you've tested? Okay, you said make a great film. Here it is. And you're going to use it to sell toasters. Now, one of the really interesting things that he points out, which is a very good point, he says this, something Rob and I have been saying for years. They're not mutually exclusive. In fact, Doug Liman says, data shows that movies do better on streaming if they have been released theatrically first. This is where I don't understand Amazon's mindset. You want this to do well on streaming? Put it in theaters. Because movies that go to theaters first, this is not subjective. This is objective data. The data is proved. You put something in theaters first, it will do better on streaming than if you sent it straight to streaming. And Doug Liman at this point is just flabbergasted. Now again, you might rightfully say to me, John, it's Amazon's money. You were just talking about how, hey, it's the studio's money, it's the studio's project, they can do what they want. And that's true. But they did make a commitment, publicly stating 12 theatrical films a year, $1 billion of investment. We are getting behind this and doing this. And then this movie that Doug Liman signed up to do, who they told him, we this could go to theaters, maybe we'll see. And then to pull it out. Listen, Doug Liman's putting his career on the line writing this. I don't know if you knew this. Amazon's a powerful company. And he felt so strongly about this that he didn't just put it out on Twitter. He wrote an op-ed for Deadline to bash this company because he believes they are not living up to the promises that they have made. And honestly, and I say this as somebody who just put in a big Amazon order last night. I love Amazon, but he's right. He's right. Guys, we want to take a second to thank a sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Roses are red, violets are blue. Trim your balls, and your date will thank us too. What's up, guys? Valentine's Day is knocking, and Manscaped is the remedy for what the love doctor ordered. His prescription? The all-new Performance Package 5.0 Ultra, designed to elevate your grooming game and shine like the beast you are. Join the 10 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped with our exclusive offer. Go to manscaped.com to get 20% off plus free shipping with the code Campea. Guys, listen, like a lot of you, I used to shave my package like the Neanderthals did, using, the clippers on your electric razor, but that's not what you need for excellence on Valentine's Day. So let's talk about the hero of Valentine's Day, the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. This electric trimmer features skin-safe technology guarding your Valentine's Day treasure against any grooming mishaps. This package also features the Weed Whacker 2.0 nose and hair trimmer, Manscaped liquid formulations, and 2 free goodies, the Shed Travel Bag and Boxers 2.0, because comfort is king for all my guys. So elevate your grooming game routine and set the stage for a romantically smooth celebration. So guys, get 20% off and free shipping with the code Campea at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use the code Campea because your grooming upgrade awaits, ready to charm your Valentine's dates. Anyway, Chris, you saw this. I mean, whether or not Roadhouse ends up being the best film he's ever made, or that it is a career-defining performance by Jake Gyllenhaal. You mean the same guy who did Nightcrawler? You're saying this is career-defining? Yeah. Whatever. But what do you make of his comments and the fact that he even felt the need to come out and say them?
Doug, have you seen Love and Other Drugs? He's real good in that. He did a really great job. This is just such an odd choice for a multitude of reasons. One, to your point, how are you going to truly make money off of this film if it doesn't have a theatrical release? Sure, you can put it after a Bounty commercial, but what you going to do, right? The other thing here is we have such a sparse lineup of films this year.
Yep.
There are so few films coming out, particularly in the first quarter of this year. Yeah. This would do well. This would do really well. No. But it would do well. And just historically, films that have been set to open South by, things like Bridesmaids or Everything Everywhere at All at Once, that has bode really, really well for them at the box office afterwards. Those kind of tentpole films, or I mean, Everything Everywhere at Once ended up being kind of one. No one really thought that at first, but it ends up really, really getting a lot of momentum for these movies to make money. It's a cult classic. Yeah. It's a cult classic movie remake with a stacked cast that's gonna be wildly violent. I feel like this is a no-brainer to put it in theaters, at the very least for a limited theatrical run, because again, time and time again, we see that if you just put a movie in theaters for just a short amount of time, it does bananas well on streaming. It gets people to not just even wait till it's free on their streaming service, they'll actually rent it again after they've seen it in theaters.
Because it gets a little FOMO.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I would love to go see that again, but that Showtime doesn't work. I'm so glad I can watch it at home. Me and my friends will watch it for $20. No big deal. We'll all pitch in and get a pizza. It's so silly to not put this in theaters. And I absolutely understand the frustration here. I think it's a hard sell that he's doing, but I get it. It seems so short-sighted to not do this. And I don't know why so many companies keep making this choice. We saw it over and over again with Pixar, putting things like Luca, Soul, Turning Red,
which they're now on an apology tour for.
Exactly. Yeah. We've got Tenet going back to theaters too. The model doesn't work this way, and it's been proven. You can make some money on streaming, but not to the extent you can if you do the theatrical run first.
We know this guy agrees with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. Why in perfect heaven is everyone doing the same thing over and over again, going, nah, this time we're going to make bank?
It's like they're going to outsmart the market.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you doing?
They need to at least put this in theaters for 2 weeks, at least.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
Like a limited
I was
run.
entertained by this trailer.
Yeah, I like the trailer.
I was if you put it on Amazon Prime Video is like the last place I go to try to watch something. It's it's in the back. It's not even in my head. Like, oh yeah, I keep forgetting I have Prime Video. If you put it on there, I'm not watching this film. Because I'll forget.
It's going to get overlooked.
I'll forget.
100% it's going to get overlooked.
At least 2 weeks. I want to watch it with the boys or whoever you watch it with, because you want to see that action.
This
learn
should be
something
a
for the
night
group.
out. This movie should be a night out.
Or whatever night out. You know what I mean?
Gotta learn some slap skills.
To bring in my sports analogies, which everybody loves. I have never seen a basketball player get called for a foul and then complain about it to the ref and have the ref go, you know what? You're right. I changed my mind. Never seen a ref change their mind. I don't see Doug Liman writing this article changing Amazon's mind. But let me put it to you three. Is there any chance? I mean, because this wasn't just some tweet. Deadline featured this as an article. He did an op-ed for this on Deadline. Any chance at all that Amazon reads this and goes, fine, we'll do the Ray Aura. We'll give it a 2 week. Do you think there's any chance they do that?
It's starting to pick up momentum.
Yeah. I think what it does though is it now future deals with other directors, they're going to be a little more leery about working with them.
And, so it went to Deadline. Everyone's picked it up. IndieWire just an hour ago was like, yep, Doug Liman is right. It should be in theaters.
It's going to get the ball rolling at
Exactly.
least. And if that ball gets big enough, heavy enough, I don't see how Amazon doesn't try to at least put it in the theaters for at least 2 weeks.
All right,
Heavy balls
Even
get
if they
stuff
pull
going.
after a theater take $50 million, I mean, that's $50 million they didn't have before.
Exactly.
And it'll make the streaming thing more popular. But
And the movie doesn't
let me
look cheap.
put on the tinfoil hat.
Right.
Any chance this is a work? Any chance
To-
this
Oh,
is,
so they're in
this
on
is
it?
Amazon and
Test the
Doug
market?
Liman in on this together? It's like, because remember, Vince McMahon made the WWE super popular by making himself the villain in the 90s, right? That's what put over the thing, the whole Steve Austin era. Is there any chance
So
here
Amazon's playing the
Amazon
heel?
and Doug Liman are like, hey, Doug, write this angry article. Say, Amazon's screwing me.
It worked.
Get that out there. And then we'll come in and go, you know what? Doug Liman's right. This should be in theaters. And look at all the free publicity morons like me are giving it right now.
I mean, anything's possible.
Is there any chance
Yes.
this is a work?
Yes.
I mean, all I can think of is Bo Burnham just going, art is a lie, nothing is real.
I don't think it is, but yes, it is very possible.
Can you give me some more of that Kool-Aid?
You want me to go
Because I'm
fetch-
drinking
yeah.
this.
You wanna drink
I'm
more of that
drinking- I'm drinking a
Kool-Aid?
big cup of this. I'm fine with it. Fine. If you want to see if people want to see this movie, you already got me like going, come on, at least 2 weeks, 1 week. Do 1 week.
No, full theatrical release.
What's a full theatrical? I thought if it just releases in a theater, that's called a full theatrical.
No, wide release.
Wide release, not
with
just limited
with a full
cities.
theatrical window. Give it like 6 weeks in theaters.
No, 6 weeks is too long.
No, it's not. That's
No.
standard.
That's
Release.
Standard.
1 week, baby.
Okay, now you're back. You know what? Go work at Amazon.
Packing all the sweaties
What's the
in
point
1
of
week.
having 1
Packing
week?
all the sweaties in 1 week. Shoulder to shoulder.
Raise an Amazon plant. Raise an Amazon plant.
So, I don't know, but I will say this. Let's look away from the tinfoil hat aspect of it for a second. Amazon needs to take a good hard look at themselves. Nobody forced them to do it. They came out and voluntarily made a public promise. We're going to put 12 theatrical films in theaters every year. We're going to commit $1 billion to releasing these films every year. Got to live up to this promise. And you got a film like this that looks really good. Why not this one?
There's our hats.
Yeah.
So
We got our hats on.
yes, it is a work. Amazon's going to come out tomorrow with this statement. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.